we've been talking about the Eagles. We've been talking about the Chiefs. I want to give some love to the Eagles. So we've been giving a lot of love to the Chiefs, but the Eagles, to me, are not to me. They are the gold standard of the NFC. I'll say the last damn near decade, about 8 seasons now, and everything that Howie Roseman has done over there, Jeffrey Lurie has done over there, from drafting to free agency, developing the draft picks. They have become a model first class franchise, and everything you want the Bears to be and everything the Bears should be, because they are the charter franchise. They're multi-billion-dollar franchise and all that things. They should not be acting like the mom and pop shop that they've been for so many years. Now, I feel like they're going in the right direction, but I really want to know, what ways can the Bears follow the Eagles blueprint? We heard that they just let go of the whole analytics staff. That Ben said he's going to be relying heavily on analytics. And I always say, I'm anti-analytics for fans. Unless you're a general manager or like a trainer or something, shut the hell up talking to me about analytics. But for GMs and stuff, yes, they need to be more on that. I feel like the Bears need to really take a good look on how they do it over there in Philly to be able to kind of build the team they're trying to build. The good thing for them now, on paper, obviously Jalen Hurts is a better player right now, but Caleb has more talent in his pinky than Jalen Hurts has in the whole body. If he realizes all that potential and all that talent, that maybe the ceiling can be a little higher there. I personally think that they need to look more into the scouting department. It's more than just about drafting players. It's the process to draft these players. I'm questioning the entire process that Ryan Poles has done since he's been here. Even like you were bringing up, Mikey, with Ian Cunningham having to chill him out about trading up for Odunze, when there was a lot of news that he was probably going to fall down. Now, we all know that he said in the interview with Ben and even to us media that he's acknowledged the problems that he's made in his first 3 years. And now we're going to see if he's learned from them problems. And I think he needs to take a good look at how the scouting teams were to really point out which talent you're going to get and to mold that talent in the best way possible. Because if you look at the way that the Eagles rock, it's because of the players they drafted. They've got a lot of homemade guys, and they go out there and make the trade they need to go to with the AJ Brown. They go out there and make the free agent signing that they need to with Saquon Barkley. Lose a Hall of Fame center and Jason Kelsey, doesn't matter. Your offensive line is still throwing niggas out the club. And that's something I really hope the Bears can't follow. Dante, what do you think about the blueprint that the Eagles have? Do you think that that's something that the Bears could follow?
Like I said, man, it starts in the trenches. That's something we all know. That's one of those the oldest sayings in football. But that's one of the reasons that Philadelphia has been successful over the last decade, back to when they had Carson Wentz. They've always been able to, solidify the trenches on both sides of the ball. You've seen that they traded players like Reddick and who had success in their system, and then you go draft, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. You always are able to find players who fit your scheme and your style of play, and that's what's helped them stay where they are. And then they have these moments where they're good enough to go to the Super Bowl. So I think it's definitely a blueprint you can follow. It's just a matter of is Ryan Poles going to finally get these pieces right, because he's tried to make moves on the offensive line, he's tried to make moves on the defensive line. They just haven't been the right moves. So it's about who you get in there. And Scott, you made a very good point. And I think the scouting does matter. We got to start looking at who these scouts are and their success rate and how they're hitting on players. And if they aren't good enough, then they got to move on. They got to be moved, because when you build it, you obviously want to, if you can hit on key pieces and save money while doing that, that's important. And so homegrown talent is key. And we haven't been able to really, really cultivate homegrown talent and keep it. So that's something that hopefully with this Ben Johnson regime, Ryan Poles can steer the ship the right way and get that done.
Bang, man, what do you think that will be the key for Ryan Poles turn this round, outside of like what I just said, scouting? Is there anything that you feel that Ryan Poles hasn't done that well, and it's something that could be a key to not just having 1 or 2 years, but long-term success for the Bears?
I think y'all hit it. The trenches. He hasn't done that well, and that's where he comes from. He has not done that well at all. Everything else that y'all talked about goes into that scouting, analytics, and all of that. To briefly answer the question that you said about the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't think they need to do anything like that, because they tried to do that. Like everybody has kind of tried to do that Philly Eagles blueprint, especially when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract and all of that. I think that Ryan Poles just simply has to know what his goal is and just get to work on it. He came in talking about the offensive line, but he did not invest in the offensive line. He invested in the skill positions. He did that wrong. He went out and then tried to invest in cheaply. That has to change. But I mean, I think a question could be for the Bears, even now, even though they got Ben Johnson, even now, is what does the outlook for the what does the plan look like? What does the foundation looks like for this team? He really has to go in and set that and use analytics and scouting to build around that, and then he'll be okay.
Mikey, bring us home on this topic, man. What do you think the Bears can do the best to try to get on that same tier, I guess, as the Eagles?
Well, honestly, it does. Like all of you have said, it comes down to scouting. But I think it's really going to benefit him this year to have new eyes and to have eyes in the building that have actually scouted, coached, and developed elite offensive talent. He hasn't really had that yet. I toss and turn with kind of like with Bang's argument on not investing in the O line because to a degree he has, but he's done it the wrong way. And I think we're just getting to the point where he just can't identify offensive talent, you look at the Eagles, Jordan Mailata, all pro. That was a 7th round pick. Jason Kelsey, 6th round pick. That is a Hall of Famer. Then they have 1st round talent, Cam Jurgens, who's stepping in for Jason Kelsey. Now he's retired. That's a 2nd round pick. Landon Dickerson, that's a 1st round pick. Like they've invested, but they've also taken guys. I'm tired of taking guys that it's measurables over production. Like you're taking guys from big time schools that have actually produced in high leverage games and against the best competition. So I think we need to see more of that. But I honestly am just going to be leaning more on Ben Johnson's input after being with Dan Campbell and being up there with Hank Fraley. And I think if they do bring in Dan or Rauscher from Tulane and who's had NFL experience with the Saints, had guys like Ryan Ramczyk, had a couple, Pro Bowler guys. I think he's gonna have to lean on that. I think one thing that we have forgotten that this is Ryan Poles is a first-time GM and he came in hired at the age that you and I are right now. Scott, 35 years old, 36 years old. So he still is relatively young at this. So I think he needs to kind of lean on that veteran council and on some guys that have actually seen what a elite talent looks like. He was a part of the the faction of people that scouted and ended up eventually but also eventually drafting Trey Smith, their 6th-round right guard who's a Pro Bowler and looking to cash in this year over on the Chiefs. So I think he's gonna have to kind of lean on some of these guys and really identify what is he missing, because like I said, Jordan Mailata is a 7th-round pick. Jason Kelly is a 6th-round pick. There are guys out there. It doesn't matter what round. You just need to find them and coach them up. And for now, they haven't. I think Braxton Jones is a solid find in the 5th round, but I don't believe he's a starting left tackle. I think you found a guy in the 5th round that can actually play in the NFL and be, a rotational piece or be a depth piece. But I don't believe that is, the starting left tackle on a contending team. So those are things that he's going to have to kind of let go. And I think one thing that was really big this week is that they asked Ben Johnson, will he have input on personnel, and he kind of said, I've asked Ryan if he was married to any of these guys, and he said no. So that's gonna be a really big thing to watch for this year. And I also gotta calm Bears fans down and remember, I had to tell my guy Javier earlier because he was talking about why would you pay $20 million a year for a right guard when you need a left tackle? Listen, this entire O-line will not be rebuilt this year.
Exactly.
It's not going to, you still need a right guard. You still need a center. You still need a left guard and eventually a left tackle. Ben Johnson didn't sign a 1-year prove-it deal. He's going to be here. It's going to take some time.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not